the next portion is this is our brand busting segment, which is why we created the show BrandBusters. So we're going to talk about a brand that's in the news or something that we've seen that's cool or interesting. And it seems like Solo Stove and solo brands are the talk of the town on Twitter and LinkedIn, maybe talked about too much. So what do you think, James? Was it fair for them to fire their CEO? And do we think that Snoop Dogg was a failure on this thing? Give us your take.
Well, frankly, this has me fired up, pun intended. I think it's too soon to call a dud or a success. I did some digging into this. I think a lot of people are willing to grab onto a headline and look at it at face value. But as we all know, the time horizon for any brand building or awareness play, you're not going to impact same quarter sales. You might,
Never.
but you're talking 6-12 month horizon, best case scenario. Plus, what if there's a seasonality to your product, which maybe I'm off base here, but if I'm thinking about like doing bonfires or hosting them in my backyard, Sean and I are both in Cincinnati, Ohio for everyone. So we're in the midst of gray and cold and freezing our asses off outside. I don't want to sit outside right now, but come summer and fall, like I would absolutely love to, grab one of those products and have. I don't want to just sit when I'm going to be, inside with my toddlers for the next couple of months. Going even deeper though, looking at John Maris, who I think really, I think he got a little bit, I don't know any of the nuances behind the scenes here, but maybe a little bit unfair. So John came on a couple of years ago. So get these numbers. 2018, 6 years ago now, Solo Stove was clearing 16 million. In 2020, that's 300 million. And in 2023, they were on pace to clear 500 million. So John Maris.
That sounds pretty damn good to me, James. I would love to have some numbers like that right now.
I would love to have those numbers. And I think so many companies would. So I
think the other kicker too is they're profitable. They're EBITDA positive, which a lot of primarily D2C brands are not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The amount of money that's just being lit on fire by these other D2C brands that can't even, remotely touch that growth velocity. Again, I'm a little bit surprised that was the call. I don't know if there's any other dynamics at play there. But you and I both having been at the same kind of VC-backed company, and having been in a couple environments, I think one of the analogies I look at, whether it be a leader of a company or someone running in, you kind of fall into one of two buckets. So you have fire starters, and so 0 to 1, and fire stokers going from like 1 to N. And love that this analogy really plays in well to Solo Stove. But some people are just able to start something from scratch. They embrace the chaos, are able to insert infrastructure from their past experiences and really like rally, inspire people. And then others need to come into something that's already been built and then kind of help optimize and make sure it's stable and growing on a more consistent, pragmatic base. And very rarely do those two skill sets or like personas overlap. I think the other thing that you can see here is going from like founder to CEO. That's another type of, as the business becomes more mature. Now, John is not a founder. He came in after the fact, after they've been up, but he absolutely grew this thing. And he lasted 5 years, average CEO, 10 years, 4.5 years. By all intents and purposes, I think John did a great job. I think people there are calling this